Hi, my name is Candace, and I will give a brief introduction to myself as well as the TOEFL test. So, I graduated from BYU with my master's in TESOL, or Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages. I currently teach at BYU and UVU and have taught at Cellnate and PACE. I've taught several TOEFL courses and have administered the TOEFL. I'm from Utah originally and have lived a couple years in California. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in Georgia and lived a couple years in North Carolina, but I'm currently living in Utah. I've traveled to places like Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore and hope to be able to travel to more places. I enjoy playing basketball, training for mini triathlons, playing the piano and the flute, blogging, and of course, teaching. For the TOEFL test, here are some common questions that my students ask me. The first is, what does TOEFL stand for? And it's the test of English as a foreign language. And it's made by a company called ETS, or Educational Testing Services. And there's two ways you can take it. There's the IBT, or internet-based test, and then there's also the PBT, or the paper-based test. And it's more common to take the internet-based test. What are the TOEFL test sections? There are four: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. So, how long does it take? About 4 hours, which is a long test. For the reading section, there's 3 to 4 passages with about 12 to 14 questions for each passage, and that takes about 60 to 80 minutes. For the listening section, there's about 6 listenings with 5 questions, and that takes about 60 to 90 minutes. There are 2 to 3 conversations you might listen to, and 4 to 6 academic lectures. And then, my favorite part of the test, the 10-minute break. Here you can just kind of relax your brain for a minute before you begin the next section. So, for the speaking section, it's the shortest section of the TOEFL. It's about 20 minutes, and there's about 6 questions. There's 2 opinion-based to get you warmed up in speaking, and then there's 4 integrated. So there will be 2 conversations you listen to and read something about and then talk about, and then 2 academic lectures that you listen to and talk about. For the writing section, it takes about 55 minutes, but 50 minutes of it is writing. There are 2 questions. The first is the independent, which is an opinion-based question, and the second is an integrated question, which is more academic, where you'll have to read something and listen to something and then respond to it. Once you complete it, the scoring is based on each section receiving a score between 0 and 30, and then your total score would be somewhere between 0 and 120. And just to give you an idea where that puts you, if you Google the top 10 universities in the US, they're pretty high on TOEFL scores. You need above 100. And the lowest one I found was College of Pennsylvania with somewhere around a 76. But for Utah, there's a range somewhere between 60 and 85 for TOEFL scores, although some might just take a placement test. Some resources I would recommend include the official guide to the TOEFL test and the Delta's TOEFL IBT book, which I've taught from both. And there's also some online resources as well. Good luck while you're studying for the TOEFL test.